And I'm Crash.
And today we're doing 16 easy scooter tricks.
Alright, so our first trick is the bunny hop, the most basic scooter trick that you need to do for mostly all of these next ones we'll be showing. And it's where you just jump on your scooter. You want to jump, pull up with the handlebar so the scooter stays on your feet. You can practice them to get higher and higher. And yeah, so just kind of like that. The next part of that bunny hop is going off a ramp or a bank or a fly out, whatever you need to do with some of these tricks that are on here. And it's where you go up and right at the edge you want to bunny hop so you can go off the ramp and not clip the front with your front wheel like this. You just want to bunny hop a little bit before the ramp starts to end. So right about here, I would say. Bunny hop and then fly off the ramp and land it.
So the next trick is a bar turn. It's basically a bunny hop, and then you want to turn your bars like this. Take it however far you want. You can even try to tweak it out once you get good at them. This is called an X-up, but this is what it would look like flat. And then I'll show you off.
The next part of that bar turn is called a whip, and it's really when you turn your scooter a full 90 degrees. What you kind of want to do is focus on bringing that tail out when you turn your bars. And yeah, it's usually done off a ramp, so I'll show you then.
Next one is a turn down, and I naturally turn down. So it's a whip, and then you turn your bars the opposite direction. So it'll look something like that. And this is what it looks like off a ramp.
Alright, so this next trick is called a manual, and a lot of people mistakenly call it a wheelie. A wheelie is when you're pedaling or using a motor on a bike. But a manual is when you balance using only both feet on the scooter, like this. So you want to kind of find your balance point. I like to use my brake when I'm manualing, so then I can kind of push it if I start to go over, but you can just experiment with that. So find your balance point on your scooter with the wheel up, and then kind of take it to little pop-ups. You can use one foot and keep your balance with this other one, like this, you know? And yeah, then try it with both feet on, and you should have it. Just keep on practicing. I am loving manuals. I've recently done a lot with manuals if you've watched the channel before, but yeah, I'll show you one.
The next one is a one-footer. It's where you bunny hop, go off a ramp usually, and you just take your front or your back foot off. I like to take my back foot, but whatever you feel comfortable with. You can do it flat or off a ramp, but I'm going to show you off a ramp.
Alright, the next one wheels kind of touched up on, but it's the bar turn we talked about earlier, plus another 90 degrees, so your wrists touch and your hands are completely backwards. You don't want to go like this. That's one mistake I was doing when I was learning scooter for the first time. You don't turn your hand around, you keep it straight and you kind of put it around like this. It's kind of feels weird at first, so you might want to practice it flat a little bit. What you can do to practice it also is just an X ride and kind of ride like that. And yeah, take it to a ramp or some kind of jump and fully X up, and it looks cool. And it can also be used with that 1 foot and X up 1 foot. That's kind of a popular thing on biking, so yeah.
The next one is a no-footer. I love these, I don't know, they just feel really fun. But it's exactly how it sounds. You bunny hop, and then you take both feet off, and you can try to extend it.
The next one is a one hand, arguably even easier than taking off feet, but you got to be really comfortable with bunny hopping first. And what you kind of start to do is open your hand like this on the grip just to see how it feels. Then you can kind of start getting it out further and further until you have a full one hand action right here, you know?
So the next one is a bar spin, and it looks like that, and then the motion is to you take your hand off and then you flick it and then you go like that
Just like that.
And then just practice it.
That's
like
for
going
right hand dominant. Can you show left hand?
left hand is the same thing.
There you go. Like that.
And I like to practice it just like this. And then you can add a bunny hop. And then again, don't grab it like this. That's another mistake we made when we were learning them. We would go like that. So just don't do that. We made a short about this too. So if you want more details, you can go to the short.
Grabs. The first one is an over grab where you reach towards your front wheel. The second one is an indie or deck grab. And you grab your deck right next to your wheel right here. And these ones are a little bit more tricky. We're getting into the harder tricks now with that bar spin and grabs and things like that. But you want to get really comfortable with the jump and that one-hander I showed you earlier, and then you can reach down and grab, and yeah, that's pretty much.
Next one is a tail whip. This one can be pretty tricky for some people, but for a tail whip, you need to flick this way so you catch it with your toes. Or less this way is a heel whip, but if you have your feet this way, then it's that way for you. But whichever way feels comfortable, you can naturally heel whip, you can naturally tail whip. It's basically all the same thing. And what you want to do is flick. Some people like to flick with their brake, like to flick it around. And so when you're flicking it around, sometimes it'll help to move your bars like side to side like this. I'm not even flicking and the tail is swinging around. So like for doubles and singles, you have to move your hand.
We also have a short on this if you want to check that out.
Yeah. So I learned them out of a fly out and then ramp and off a curb and then flat. But Crash learned it just standing first, like on flat, did it, and then off curb and then off a ramp and then fly out. But whatever is comfortable for you guys.
The next part of this, wheels can't really get on a ramp, but it is catching the tail whip. And once you're experienced with it, you usually land when you're a beginner with the scooter first, and then your feet go on. But when you're more advanced at the tail whip, you'll catch it with your back foot like this, and then land it. So I'll just show you an example of that real quick. Our next trick is kind of like a 3-for-1 kind of trick, and it's a 180 Fakie Halfcab. So what you're gonna want to do is practice 180s, and you kind of turn the scooter around while jumping. So you kind of want to get a little bit of a wheel turn to help with that extra pop. And then you want to look at where you're going so your head turns behind you. And then, yeah. So practice that on like a little hill or something. And once you get those down, you can try to start riding backwards. This is a little bit tricky. You have to learn to balance really well and then like ride it out by moving the wheel the opposite direction you want to turn, which is a little bit difficult for some. And then after you learn fakies, you want to learn how to jump out of a fakie, which is called a half cab. And for me, I would turn it this way to pop the right direction, but I ride goofy, so most people would probably turn this way and then pop around this way. So you kind of like turn the opposite direction to flip that scooter around. It might be a little confusing at first, but I think you can get it. So I'll show you an example.
And if you're totally lost, regular is left foot forward, like in your position would look like this, and then goofy is right foot forward, and it would be like that.
One more thing is, do learn that trick flat, because off of a ramp is kind of scary because it feels like you're going to hit your front wheel. So I would learn just a 180 fakie half a tap on flat ground like that.
You do it all in one rotation, which is a 360. So it's the same thing. You're going to want to bunny hop and turn your scooter But what's really important about this one is you turn your head, because if you don't turn your head and just try to go like this, it probably won't work. So when I was learning these, it was pretty tricky, and I had to put a glove on the ground, so when I turned my head, I could find the glove and then straighten out. So put like a cup or a water bottle, whatever, if you need it.
This is one of the more difficult tricks that we're getting into right now. Okay, like I said before with the 360, this is quite a difficult trick, and it's a board slide where you jump on a rail and slide with your scooter at a 90-degree angle like this, and then hop off at the end. This trick will take a while. Be patient with it. I would start with a small rail. This is a pretty small one. I even learned on a smaller one that's at a skate park, but if you don't have it, this size is perfectly fine. What you want to do is go to the very end to start and jump up on it, get onto it, and then just kind of ride off. Okay, well, what you don't want to do is turn your scooter and come at it like an angle, because if you jump on it this way, your momentum will keep going this way and you'll fall off like this, and that's no fun, trust me. So you want to come in completely parallel and side bunny hop onto it like this. This kind of comes into the whip. This is really helpful with a whip. And so like kind of practice bunny hopping to the side a little bit, so you can go completely parallel to the rail, jump on it at the very end, slide, and just ride off. And then once you get more comfortable with that, you can go further and further back until you can ride the whole rail and even jump out of the end and turn that extra little bit. And then you can move it to a bigger and bigger rail, learn more tricks off of it, and all sorts of things. So, yep. A very important aspect is balancing on the rail. What you don't want to do, it feels like you need to lean backwards, but that is really bad because you'll slide out like this, fall on your back. So I would say for the first time, lean forward, because that's where your momentum is going, and it'll feel much easier to stay on the rail as you're leaning forward instead of backward, and it will be not as bad as an injury if you fall forward and run off your scooter, other than landing back first onto the rail. So yeah.
I did that so many times and it is not fun. So lean forward. This one is a nothing. So what you want to do is you want to start with taking both of your feet off and then your hands. Because if you take your hands and then your feet, your scooter tends to go down. And you bunny hop, and then you'll take your feet and then your hands off, and then there's nothing on your scooter. Then put your hands and feet back on before you hit the ground.
I find pulling up on the bars right before you let go is a lot really helpful. So yeah, kind of like that.
So it's way easier to learn how to fly out because you have more air time. So that one was small. Sorry about that.
All right, and those are 16 easy, kind of into the intermediate level scooter tricks that you can learn over the summer. Bring them to the skate park and impress your friends and have lots of fun with them. I hope you learned something, and with that, we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah.